One of the next actions we're going to undertake is the overhaul of the bypass valve arrangement on the MD dryer block. So we're going to show you how you remove these pieces and refit them onto this end. As you can see on these ones, they've already been in the machine, they're already fitted. They can actually shatter and break because they're quite brittle, and you can get seizing of the thread on there, so it's quite a useful exercise to go over this point, because they do seize up from time to time. So this is going to be our next task. So these are the parts that you get new in the kit. You'll notice this got a thread on it which goes on this nut, the seals, o-ring and gasket. So we're now going to demonstrate how we strip one of these down, which is quite simple, not complicated, and then we'll just do a quick reassembly of this one, and then we'll move on to the valve seats themselves and different things. Obviously there's a little desiccant indicator here as well. If you get one of those in the kit, you can change it, otherwise you can rely on the factory dew point meter. So I'm going to take the angle off first. We'll make a note as well to tell you that these can be extremely tight in these threads, extremely tight. Sometimes you need a very big pair of Stilsons or a fitted spanner onto that nut to get them out. The first action is to clamp that nut in the vise. If you're on site, obviously you've got to use spanners, but it's quite difficult, so it's better off if you have access to a vise. Got that out from the nut. Yeah, that should be in reasonably good condition. So now what you do is you screw that out. If it's been in there quite some time, it will be quite dirty. Okay, so that nut goes right up to the back face now. You spin that up onto the nut. Need to tighten that a little bit more, but just note the copper washer behind it as well, and then that bit's ready for the next stage of the assembly.
So on the outlet of the valve stem there's a rubber seal to stop the leaks to the atmosphere.
Yep. Again, it doesn't need to be overly tight because you've got a seal in there, and obviously the tighter you make it, the tighter the seal is going to be on the shaft, so it's going to be harder to turn. Now we're going to fit the handle. You very often see some of these machines with the angles broken off because they're like a Bakelite type material. You just fit the angle back on like that.
All these cleaned, new gaskets, make sure the seat is all clean inside, and then you'd refit the valve. Anti-seize will help the next time for removal.
And that block's better on the machine, isn't it, to actually finish tightening this nut. Trying to do it like that on the bench now, you wouldn't get enough purchase on it without it moving around. So if you have this block back on the dryer itself, it's a lot easier to put more purchase on the brass to the cast iron. One last thing we should mention is if this is now very, very tight, just slacken that nut slightly and take a little bit of pressure off the seal and then nip it again. But that's pretty much it. You've got one more item that you can fit if it's in the kit, and that is the desiccant telltale. If you've ordered the overall kit, you get that. All of the parts we've shown you today are from ztechnique.co.uk. You can buy our alternative parts instead of the OEM, but of course we can supply the OEM if you need it. Thank you.